afraid of grafters.
Your teeth and no!
Ding, ding.
Bit more for your... Cheers for bringing it.
No worries, I hope you like it.
We shall see. I don't know shit about wine.
I mean, I don't really, but my uncle was really into white wine, and that was one of his favourites. So cheers.
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 Cheers. Oh. So we finally got there. We finally did it.
Yes. Took what, 2 years? Maybe 3?
I reckon just to jump it off, crackle. Just to give the Hand of Glory a decent shout. Right, when is it? It's April the...
Sunday the 13th of April.
Sunday the 13th of April. So that's like next weekend, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Right, so we're going to hopefully get this episode out like tomorrow, hopefully.
Okay.
So, right, get down to Project House, April the 13th. It's a Sunday. It's free in.
Mm-hmm.
Do you need to do one of those book a free ticket sort of things, or can you just rock up?
Just turn up.
Cool.
You can book one if you want, but it's completely not necessary. So, yeah,
Cool.
pop down.
Yeah, I had a fucking blast last year. I mean, albeit I was blasted. I was pretty fucking high, but and it maybe made me love the BURRIA. Is it BURRIA Bandits?
Yeah, they'll be there again.
I always forget because there's a few different BURRIA businesses in Leeds now, but I was thinking recently, BURRIA Bandits, that BURRIA dish they did me with the dipping pot.
Yeah.
I think that might actually be my favourite food in Leeds, singular food, alongside Stuzzy's deep fried lasagna with their nduja ketchup on the side. I think those two things are like my death row meals.
I've had the tacos, but not the deep fried lasagna, but I would definitely eat that.
They were doing it they had like a spot in the Trinity Kitchen recently, I think sometime last year. I rocked up there and I was pretty blasted, but it was the running theme here. There was I rocked up like stupidly like 5 minutes before they were closing. I was that dickhead, but I just didn't realise the timings of on a Sunday in Trinity Kitchen. But so I was a bit like, oh, I'm a dickhead, so I felt like whatever. But they hooked me up and it was fucking phenomenal. So yeah, those are my two. And I'd say if you're getting down, BURRIA Bandits are in the mix again. They've been doing fellas. Still in the mix, but it feels like he's definitely had a struggle this past year, like most people have. But he's really made an effort, it feels like, to get out there and do stuff further afield outside of Leeds.
Yeah.
So that's awesome to see, and that he's still in the mix.
Yeah, I think they've definitely had a hard time, as you say, like a lot of other food businesses. But you know, hopefully this does some good work for them. And the other two that are coming, we're really excited about as well. Like Edge's Pizzas came last time, and they've only been going for a year or so, but they just seem to be absolutely smashing it out. Like their pizza's incredible.
Nice.
And then there's a new one called Dumpling Lamb, which they got in touch with us. I'd not actually heard of them, but they make handmade dumplings with all kinds of different things in and exciting toppings, and yeah, they look really good.
I tried a spot in Cardiff on that tip recently. Is it pierogi? Is that the?
Oh yeah, the Polish one.
Yeah. There's a pierogi spot in Cardiff. If you're in Cardiff, upstairs in the indoor market, fucking phenomenal stuff. But dumplings, just as a concept, it's just it's again
always a win.
Ticking my box.
Yeah.
It's, great stuff. What else is going on there? So just to the outsider, Hand of Glory. That's the event. Hand of Glory is the event. Cheers, Nicole. Nicole in the house again, back from South Africa, causing chaos from the jump. But bringing us with a lovely Vault City strawberry field for us to dive into after we've smashed some wine. Vault City are really killing it at the moment on that front. Are you into the sours at all?
No, actually. I'm a basic bitch lager kind of person.
I think this one will win you over.
Okay.
I would say with Vault City, they're one of those, they're a brewery that are like doing the sour thing, but like on a really accessible tip, to the degree where I'd say it's more of like tang than sour.
Okay.
So and a lot of them are just like fucking fruit juice. We had one the other night, again, Vault City's, me and pal Luke. The Scotch Eggman. Mr. Scotch Egg fella.
Okay.
I always forget what the fucking business is called. We'll put it here. But
isn't it called the Scotch Egg? Yeah.
I always call him Mr. Scotch Eggman. But
close enough.
Yeah. But you came round and furnished me with many fine beers.
Nice.
And yeah, one of them, Vault City's Jungle Juice. It was like sort of pineapple, mango, papaya in a smoothie style.
Yeah.
6%. It ain't beer.
Yeah.
It's just enjoyable something. Enjoyable badness for adults.
I've tried a lot of sour beers and I've never yet tried one that I've liked, but I'm willing to try anything, so I will give it a go.
This could be the puppy. But yeah, so we were saying it is Hand of Glory. In concept, essentially, it's kind of a tattoo con with bells on, it feels like.
It's like a smaller, more accessible version, I guess, because it's free entry and yeah, it's just like a one-day event, so it's just a really nice vibe with lots of friendly traders. There's like 17 tattooists. They mostly take walk-ups for the day, so I mean they do get really busy. So for anyone that's planning on coming, wants to get tattooed, get down early. We open at 11. The tattooists fill up fast. But yeah, it's just a really chilled event.
It's like a big old space, Project House, big decent space. And you're going to have the tattooists there. There was a lot of like arts and craft type people, very niche type fashion items as well. There was just fucking all sorts. It felt like a real smorgasbord of an event.
Yeah.
Could you give us a sort of a rundown as to, I mean, I guess not so much where it came from, but where it sits in the city as to what it brings, because it does feel like it's kind of, again, for the scale of it, but for what it offers, relatively unique. It's a very fun.
Yeah.
And it didn't feel exclusatory. Making up new words. I didn't feel as a total outsider to the tattoo world. I didn't feel an outsider walking around that scene. It was very welcoming, it felt.
Yeah, I guess that's the difference. Like, because it's free entry and because it's a lot smaller, it feels a little bit less scary, I guess, than going to a big convention where the main theme of that is tattooing. Whereas this one, we wanted to, because I also do the Leeds Tattoo Expo, and we've really enjoyed doing that, but wanted to add in a new event. And we did something kind of similar at Northern Monk Refectory a few years ago, and enjoyed doing that for one day, and decided to take that idea, do something similar. And obviously there's a lot of markets around Leeds, there's some amazing events going on, but the difference that we brought to this one is the tattooing, and it's just, I think it's nice for people to come and see people tattooing and enjoy such a relaxed event in a smaller venue, and yeah, just do it for the day. It
was, I mean, I guess for me, again, as an outsider to the whole tattoo con world, it did feel really voyeuristic, just seeing people being tattooed. And obviously, you know, the people getting tattooed, they know what they're signing up for, but just for me as the outsider, it was a bit like, oh, it's a bit naughty.
Yeah.
it was interesting to see, but yeah, definitely, as Sundays go, it's about as good as a thing to get out to as I can imagine, especially with it being free in, and especially the location, like Galleria on the side of it as well.
Yeah.
Galleria, we had Josh Whitehead on last, and nothing but hype in that spot for the sake of one of his pals, the head chef there, but entirely sold me on the place.
Yeah, I still need to try it, to be honest.
Yeah.
But, it does look incredible. I've only heard good things about it.
I think I need a salary before I can kind of start exploring the Leeds food scene again. But
fair enough.
Yeah, it is what it is. Unemployment is not the one for splashing out, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So you said mentioned involved in the Leeds Tattoo Convention. Is that what it's called?
Leeds Tattoo Expo.
Leeds Tattoo Expo.
Yeah.
And that's bounced out of, is it Ultimate Skin that run that then, or?
Yeah, it's me and my boss Sylvia. She started it with another tattooer from Leeds years ago now. I
was going to say, how long is it? 'Cause it feels like it's got to be like 10, 15 years.
This is the 10th one.
Okay.
We had a 2-year break for COVID.
Yeah.
But yeah, this year, 10th anniversary. So we've introduced a few new things to it to try to bring like a bit of a different crowd down, because we've always had like obviously the tattooers, there's an arts market, we have quite a lot of entertainment with like fire breathers, we've had comedians, music, all sorts. But this year there's a new part to it called the Card Expo, which is like for trading cards, collectibles, like plushies, like all that kind of side of things, organised by somebody else who knows more about that realm than what I do.
Yeah. I think I've got a stack of magic cards up on one of them shelves somewhere.
Get them down,
Yeah. But they're like legit sort of back in the day sort of era, 95 era type shit. So I keep thinking I should sell these, but then also I might want to play Magic the Gathering again. It's pretty fun.
Yeah, I mean, take them down to the event and see, like, you never know, you might end up trading them or selling them, or I don't know, but yeah, it'd be fun.
That's interesting. I guess you've got to keep evolving what you're doing for the sake of getting the people in.
Yeah, I think especially now, because there's so many people struggling so much with money and things, that you have to make an event as appealing as it possibly can be. And one good way for us to do it is to try to appeal to a wider audience. And this for us, there are like other kind of geeky, nerdy events where they will have more of like the trader side of things with a couple of tattooers. Yeah. But for us, it just made sense to try to bring that to Leeds and bring the two crowds together, because it does fit and there is a big crossover. And yeah, for us, it just means we can have like two events running at the same time, get everyone involved in both. Yeah, we'll get back to this in a sec, but just on the subject of tattooists struggling and just the drop-off at the moment, because I literally was just chatting to a friend of mine this afternoon, Jim Bob down, shout out to Jim Bob Isaac in Swansea. I think I mentioned him to you before a couple of years ago. Yeah, I think you did, actually. Yeah, because his kind of main thing has been illustration over the years. Like, I'd known him, I remember putting on a gig in in Swansea in 98 or 99, and him doing the flyer for it, because he was like a design kid. And up until then, I was like cut and paste, photocopying bullshit flyers. And suddenly I had this like Art Nova piece of just like fucking brilliance, and old Leeds band Candace came down for actually, and that's it, Connecting to Ultimate Skin. The Autumn Year also played it, and that was with a lad called Steve Byrne. Oh, okay, yeah. Who was, old school. Yeah, he was a little bit before my time, but there's a few of the guys that work at the shop who have like old tattoos by them, and I know like when he comes back to the UK, there's still a lot of people who are like super excited to get tattooed by him, and he's very much like a tattooer's tattooer, but I think, predates me, unfortunately. Yeah, it's a weird one for that, because I think I'm gonna fuck it up. I think he ended up going to Japan and getting like something of a sort of an internship, or however it's phrased, working with like a master, and then kind of brought that back and really brought that influence to the sort of the UK scene, it felt. I'm not sure, to be honest. Yeah, I mean, I again, speaking out my ass, don't know tattoos, but yeah, Steve Byrne, that's an aside. Back to Jim Bob, back to struggling tattooists. Is that kind of the wider vibe of like people tightening their belts and? Yeah, it's been a really difficult couple of years for like a lot of independent businesses, and especially with tattooing, because it's such a luxury service, and you know, like it's not something that's easy to budget for at the best of times. But especially now, there's a lot of tattooists who are really seeing a massive drop off in the amount of bookings that they have, and especially like large scale work and things. It's there's a lot of them like looking into getting like second jobs or anything that they can do, like bringing like crafts and things that they can focus on alongside the tattooing to try to make a little bit of extra money, but it's still difficult. We can only hope that it gets better as soon as possible. We'll see. Tariffs, maybe that'll that might help. I don't even fucking know. It's one of them things everyone's saying tariffs at the moment, and apparently use ChatGPT to work it out. That's today's bombshell of the Trump scenario. But who the fuck? It just feels societally like it's just going to get horrible this year. And with the everyone tightening their belts, as you say, it's like tattoos are a bit of a luxury item. Yeah, definitely. Do you think that you might use, I guess, the conventions as a barometer for the wider vibe as to people's appetite for that, or ability to pay for those sorts of things? It's difficult with that, because there are so many tattooists that travel to the convention, and whereas like people might not be able to afford to go to wherever they work and get tattooed by them, they will come to the event specifically to get tattooed by somebody. So it's hard to gauge whether that is a massive has a massive effect on like the general tattoo scene. Yeah, and I suppose as well, because you're evolving what you're bringing for the expo, that you've got the card element, and suddenly if there was a huge uptick in presence,
it'd be hard to gauge whether that was a genuine tattoo interest or whether it was the card people just making up the numbers, or...
Yes and no, because the Card Expo, they're selling tickets. It's like,
oh, okay,
you can buy a ticket for the Card Expo or a ticket for the Leeds Convention, and you get entry into both of them. But we've kind of, like, if you go onto the Card Expo Instagram and you buy a ticket through there, it'll give them a gauge of how many tickets they've sold. So we can see, like, if it works, if it doesn't, like, it'll, give us a gauge on it. But I think one difference we've seen this year so far is, being the 10th one, we have an idea of, like, what proportion of tickets will have sold by now, and it's definitely lower at this moment in time. But having spoken to other people doing other events, there does tend to be more people buying tickets last minute when they know that they can afford to like really enjoy it, or, you know, just waiting for the correct payday or what have you.
Yeah, that's been a frustration of mine when you've seen events that have been cancelled due to low ticket sales. I get there's a certain level of, you don't want to lose money on the guarantees you'd have to pay out, but, like, there is, as you say, that aspect of people that will, and for myself as well, I just despise buying tickets. I love just being able to rock up on the door and just get in. But it's a fine balance to meet there. Yeah,
I mean, you can also pay on the door on the day if you want to. Obviously, as you say, with, like, cancelled events and things, the event will not be getting cancelled regardless. But it does help to give us a good gauge of, like, how many people to expect and things if tickets sell before, and you know, you can get them with no booking fees at Ultimate Skin, so it's worth taking advantage of. Yeah, we've just put them in Crash as well for the first time, so excited to see how that goes.
I mean, again, it's a good, you'll be able to, like, as you say, gauge the numbers from each respective place, work out if it's worthwhile kind of doing a similar thing next year and reaching out to other sort of sellers. And I think as well, one of the more fun aspects of more fun, it seems like an entirely crazy party, but, like, one of the as again, the outsider to the expo, never been to the expo, but I've been probably more aware of it for the sake of the after parties. You knew that was coming. We tend to have a bit of a night out each night, but the Sunday night one is probably the one you're referring to. And it's I think it's a fun one for imagining, like, somebody that isn't aware it's happening, strolling into Santi's and seeing the carnage that happens. It's like, just no one's wearing a top, and it's just one of them, like, really fun, chaotic clusterfucks of a night that's just it beautifully typifies what the event feels like it wants to represent. Just bunches of pals getting together and having a wild fun time together.
Yeah, definitely, because, like, there's lots of people who'll only see each other a couple of times a year, normally at events like that, and we're fortunate in that we have so many returning people, and we've had the after party at Santiago's every year, so it's just become this thing of, like, people will make sure that they come, that they bring all their friends and see each other at the Sunday night after party, and that leads to chaos. I can only imagine, like, as you say, the people rocking back into Leeds, like, oh man. Oh, an Echo,
I always get his bloody... I thought it was Enzo for the longest time, for years.
I've heard just about as many variations of his name as you could possibly imagine. But
it must be really fun for the sake of, like, that weekend you get to see so many faces just descending on Leeds from around the world, as you say. What is the level of internationals that you bring to the event? Or is it more, like, national from around the country?
It varies year on year, and it's definitely got harder since Brexit and all that fun, because we used to have a lot of international tattooists coming from all over the place.
Oh, but then the visa aspect of things,
so I actually couldn't give you a proportion, to be honest. Like, we have, because my Sylvia, who runs the event with me, is from the Basque Country. She knows a lot of tattoo shops from around there and from around Spain. So we have a lot of Spanish guest artists that come over. So that's, like, the highest proportion of international tattooists that we have. But I would genuinely struggle to put a number on how many of them there are, because it varies so much each year. I mean, I'm fed up with Spanish people in Leeds, to be honest. Fucking Sebas. he's a liability. We've got to give Sebas a mention every episode. Of course.
Shortly to be leaving Whitelocks, unfortunately.
No way.
Yeah, he's handed in his notice, so he's working through till the end of May.
Oh, wow.
So if you're looking for a chef position, I think they're looking for across the board right now. But yeah, Whitelock, fucking oldest pub in Leeds, one of the
Yeah.
best kitchens in Leeds.
Love it.
So if you're a chef looking for something at the moment, get in touch with Nick Robertson down there. He'll hopefully give you a role. But yes, Sebas will be. He said he wants to bounce back home for a bit, chill out, work out his next move.
Oh wow.
But yeah, it's much love to the man.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I had no idea about that.
Yeah. So more to yourself now, because I don't really. We've kind of peripherally known each other a bit. I was, as I say, fucking once every few months, I was there for the first date. It's just working Santiago when Katie and Sam had their first date, and it was just one of those things of just seeing the whole thing blossom. We'll say blossom.
Yeah, no, I like that word.
Yeah, there's no falling over when you say something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've kind of just been peripherally friends. Yeah, I think we've had some lovely conversations the past few months.
And like you said, like known of each other for a long time, but not massively well.
Yeah. So, what's the story? Where did you come from? How long have you been here? How did you end up doing what you're doing?
Well, I've lived in Leeds my entire life, apart from when I went to uni in Manchester. And when I left uni, my plan was, I came back here. I didn't really know what I was doing, but I, at that point, wanted to move back to Manchester. So I just got a job in a pie shop in Headingley, which no longer exists, and wasn't really sure what I was doing with my life. And then one of my friends, Tash, who now owns another tattoo shop in Leeds called Craw.
Oh, yeah.
She worked at Ultimate Skin at the time. She was doing her apprenticeship, and a piercing apprenticeship came up, and she just asked me if I was interested. And it's not something I'd ever considered, but I'd recently started getting tattooed. Like, I got my first tattoo just before I graduated, and I just decided to give it a try. And that was 12 years ago.
Oh, wow. So
Yeah.
you've literally just 12 years Ultimate Skin.
Yeah. I just fell on my feet, and I've loved all of it.
Yeah, and as much as I'm like, as I say, the entire outsider for the tattooing thing, piercing, it's even more so. Like, I think you're the only... Well, no, I think Camille did it for a minute, didn't he?
Yeah, there's been quite a few different piercers. So there's Lisa, who's now at Rude Studios. She trained me. And then we've had a couple of other people in through the years for brief periods of time, including Camille. Yeah, I've been doing that the entire time.
But so that is to say that I've just no idea at all. Where do you even start with asking what the hell piercing is about? What are the majority of your workloads? Is it like sort of the typical ear and nose scenario, or is it like a lot of...
Yeah.
or is it like sort of no 2 days are the same, or there's... Because it feels like it kind of a Venn diagram of like normies with the ears to like, shall we say, people that maybe have the kink appreciation of it.
Yeah.
People that have the... I like the naughtiness of maybe getting a nipple tattoo or something more intimate, and everything in between. It feels like it's the craziest of... One thing could be, oh, I'm just going to get that done. The next thing you know, you're between someone's legs.
We don't actually do any intimate piercing at Ultimate Skin.
Cool.
Nipples, but not below the belt.
Okay.
So I can't speak for that, but mostly it is like ears, noses. But at the moment, because of the whole like 90s resurgence, eyebrow piercings, navel piercings are super, super popular.
Oh, okay. Midriffs everywhere.
Yeah, there you go.
It was one of them things, like I worked from home for like years, and then suddenly that ended, and I went out my front door, and it's just like bellies everywhere.
Yeah. Everyone's got them out. Everyone wants them pierced.
Yeah,
so.
That's fair play.
Yeah. That's probably what's most popular at the moment. But yeah, I can't speak for anything else.
It must be interesting for, in the same way that people will work with a tattooist that they know when they kind of spitballing on what they want next. Like, what's the lad's name that we were out with the other night from your place?
Oh, Chris Smith.
Was it Chris, the bald lad?
Yeah.
So Chris, turns out we had our mutual friend Ben Palmer.
Yeah. Ben Palmer's great.
the troublesome Ben Palmer. But I remembered Ben telling me about the neck tattoo he got. He got a spider on his neck.
Yeah.
And he'd said when he went to Chris that... he said, I want to get something here, and he kind of, I think he even said, the only thing I don't want to get is a spider. And Chris was like, well, right, I'm going to do a spider then. And it was almost that thing of like, they've got such a good, honest relationship and a personal relationship that he was able to contradict Ben and say, no, you've got to confront what you don't want to do. And it was literally, and when I raised that with Chris the other night, he said, yeah, that's what it was. It was a case of just pushing no, you've got to confront this shit. And it was...
I didn't know that's why he had that tattoo, to be honest. yeah,
it's an interesting concept and that trust element, the relationship that you build. Do you find that you've got like some of those clients as well with the piercing side of things? Yeah,
definitely. Yeah, there's quite a lot of repeat customers. Like, we do pierce a high proportion of students, so you might get a repeat customer who comes to you a lot for 3 years and then you never see them again.
Yeah.
But within those 3 years, they will find tattooists, piercers, whatever that they like, and they do tend to come back. So so that's always really nice.
Yeah, like Kane's lass,
Levy.
I always fuck up the name. My brain's like, what is it? And then I think Nirvana as the sort of the phonetic reference point. But yeah, she's definitely got some work going on there.
Yeah, she's got some incredible piercing.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I've never actually pierced her, but yeah, she's got quite the collection.
So would you say there's like sort of an appreciation there for the skill that goes into certain areas? And could you speak to that? Like, what is the relative range of... Again, I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about.
Yeah, there's definitely areas that you've got to be more careful with. Like, so, for example, like if you're piercing around the mouth, you've got to always check for veins and things. And then the next step up from that would be like cheek piercings, which I think she has.
Yeah.
You've got to be very careful of like the saliva glands. So there's a lot of piercers that won't do it because they can be so problematic.
Yeah.
So it's the sort of thing that like if you're going to get it done, you would probably want to go to somebody who's done a lot of them over a lot of years, whereas obviously you want to be careful with any piercing because it's adding something to your body, but with an earlobe there's much less risk because it's
there's no veins going through that.
There's like little capillaries and things that you have to watch out for, and like you can, any piercing can be problematic, but some way more so than others.
I mean, so what would be the sort of the more, as you say, the cheek element of things? Again, to the normie of me, what would be some of the crazier, more out there piercings you could think of? Maybe even some that you wouldn't above the belt would kind of feel a little apprehensive on doing.
Oh, I mean, like I say, like because we don't do any of those, and there's also we only do like a limited selection of piercings, Ultimate Skin.
Oh, okay.
But the stuff that there's like really experienced piercers in Leeds, I don't know if even they do some of these piercings. Like there's one called a nasolang, which is like where you do normal nostril piercings but higher up, and it goes all the way through.
Oh.
Yeah, it's like only... I don't think there's many piercers that would do it, and it's known to be like horrifically painful and probably like very low chance of it healing really well. But yeah, that's one of the more extreme ones, I would say.
Yeah, and like you'd always see the stretching was huge for a minute. I think with the nose side of things, it felt a bit more, I don't know, it's scope for something to go wrong for the sake of nasal cavity and just...
Do you mean stretching?
Nose yeah.
Yeah, that's incredibly rare.
Okay.
I've seen a few people with it stretched to extreme points, and even actually I saw a guy the other day who'd stretched both sides of his nose and then it had the inside of it tattooed, which I can't even imagine what that would feel like. I don't want to. But that's the sort of thing that if someone came in asking for it, it's not something I'd touch.
Yeah, but as you say, you've got like the little prescribed list. This is what we offer. If people are going off piste, I guess you can maybe potentially reference them elsewhere in the city.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm always happy to give recommendations if it's not something I'm comfortable doing.
Yeah. Will most tattoo studios also offer the piercing element then, do you find, or?
There's a few of them. Like, there's not loads and loads of piercers in the centre. Like, there's quite a few tattoo shops that just do like tattooing. I'd say maybe like 50-50.
Okay. And like, what would be the draw of coming to someone like yourself for like a more sort of layperson piercing as opposed to like going to a Claire's or just a high street?
Okay, so
solution
with
to that?
Claire's, they pierce with a gun instead of with sterile needles, and with the
Okay.
guns, you can't clean them properly. But also, when you do a piercing, you want to obviously clean the area, but then mark exactly where it's going. And when you pierce with a needle, the piercing goes exactly where the mark is.
Yeah.
Whereas with a gun, it's kind of like like if this is a lobe, you might get anywhere in this area.
Yeah.
Which is why often when people have piercings done with guns, they're a little bit too wonky. And also at Claire's, they will pierce pretty much any age, which is just
seeing
gross.
toddlers with
Yeah.
a bit of a. Okay, so it's purely a needle.
Yeah, so there's different kinds that you can use. So the ones that we use, it's a cannula. It's the same as what you'd have with a blood test. So it's like
I hate needles. I'm not getting pierced, but just as throwing it out there. But
yeah, that's what we use. Or you can also use. It's literally just a needle. It's a blade.
Okay.
And there's like little tools and things that you use to put the jewellery in, but.
And so just put a piece of wood behind it or something, or.
No, because you can't sterilise wood.
Oh, idiot boy, come on.
Cool. No, so
do you want to just talk us through the actual process of the piercing then?
Okay, well, if in terms of just like the equipment, you would use a pair of medical forceps to hold the area still, or some people will do it freehand and just use their fingers to like sort of brace the area. And then the way that I would do it is with, as I say, a cannula. So you pierce with that, remove the needle, and it leaves the cannula, the tube in it.
Yeah.
And then you have an insertion pin that screws into the jewellery. That goes through, and then you unscrew that and put the top on the jewellery, and that's the basic way that a piercing would happen.
Well, there we go. Learn something new every day.
There you go. No pieces of wood.
Yeah. So, I mean, is there like... I'm just thinking on the sort of the more danger zone elements... I got to assume there's a basic level of training, but are there like sort of heightened levels then of just courses you can go on to learn the awareness of that, or is it more of a, as you say, just experience led?
It's a bit of a combination. So it's mostly done through apprenticeships rather than like there are training courses available, but for both piercing and tattooing, they're often kind of like rushed through and maybe not as comprehensive as they should be. So. Yeah. The traditional way of apprenticing is often the way forward because you can really like have one-on-one training, spend a lot of time learning from somebody and learn as much as possible.
Yeah.
There are like a few associations that go a little bit further and really talk about like the quality of the jewellery that you're piercing with and all that kind of thing.
Okay.
So there's a bit of a variety going on still.
Yeah, just because when you were talking about the various sort of danger zones of things, can you just imagine, like, you just do the stab, again, non-technical term, you do the stab and then suddenly the face droops and it's like, oh shit, there we go.
Yeah, I think the risk of anything like that is fairly minimal.
Okay, but, but it's one to be aware of.
Yeah. I mean, as like a sort of different side to that, we sometimes get like people asking for piercings for medical reasons. Like, there's several piercings in your ears that if you look online, it'll say this one helps with anxiety, this one helps with migraines, this one helps with depression.
Okay.
There's some very, very loose association to like Eastern medicine and acupuncture and
pressure pointy type stuff.
Yeah. So there's some sort of thought behind it, but piercers aren't trained in acupuncture and pressure points, so there's a very, very slim chance that you might get a piercing and it helps, or at least is a placebo. But I think that sort of myth needs to be dispelled a bit because, you get people coming in asking for like the piercing to cure your anxiety, and it's not gonna.
Maybe speak to a therapist.
Sure.
There's other routes available for you. But yeah, back to the exhibition though, the expo side of things, because it's knowing how huge it is. It's so based at Leeds Arena. Knowing how expansive it is, it's a hell of an endeavour. And so, how many people are involved in the sort of the straight up organisational side of things?
Me and my boss. Yeah, Sylvia.
Sylvia, you say?
Yeah.
That's pretty fucking phenomenal.
Thanks. Yeah, it is a lot of work, but it benefits that we've done a lot of them so far. So, even though there's a lot of work to do every year, because it's like repeating, we can.
You know what you're doing.
Yeah. We have a big team of people who help us over the weekend to look after everybody, like get all the work done, and there's a phenomenal amount of people in the arena, like before you even have any punters through the door. But yeah, it's a hell of a lot of work, and Sylvia must answer thousands of emails a year. But
so how is it? What's been the sort of trajectory over the past decade of running this? Then where did it start out?
So Sylvia organised the first one with Steve, who's Tash's partner that I mentioned earlier. They organised it down at New Dock Hall, the first ever one, which would be, I guess, 12 years ago, if we've missed 2. And then from the second year onwards, that's when I started. I think the second one I helped Sylvia out like a little bit rather than being full involvement, because at that point I was a tattoo apprentice as well as a piercing apprentice.
Oh, okay.
And that was very brief. And then from the third one onwards, we've organised it together. And I think we did 4 down at the New Dock Hall.
Where
and then moved up. So next to the Royal Armouries.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's mostly used for big dinners and things.
That rings a bell now, yeah.
And yeah, I think it was 4 down there. Then we moved up to the arena. And yeah, we've done it there ever since.
Christ, I can't even begin to think about how somebody from because Ultimate Skin is ultimately an independent business. It's just an individual deciding to do a thing at such a scale. How Sylvia, maybe it's a conversation for her, but how she even kind of had the gumption to just make that first booking of it.
I think it was because, going back to the first one down at the New Dock Hall, she'd been helping out people who organised the Barcelona Tattoo Convention for a long time.
Oh, okay, cool.
So there, I genuinely can't remember how long it's been going, but I think it's over 30, maybe over 35 years, like a long time.
Yeah.
And Sylvia's been involved in the tattoo industry for 28 years. So she's got a lot of experience in doing the event side of things.
Yeah.
And it's very different now. But at the point that she started Leeds Tattoo Expo, there was only really, there weren't as many tattoo conventions as there are now.
Okay.
And there weren't any that were up north and in the summer. So she just decided, let's give it a try. Yeah, absolutely. Whereas now, every little town has one, and some cities have multiple. I think I'm really saturated.
Is there one in Harrogate?
There has been.
So that rings a bell, but I can't think for where any of the others would be. So has Manchester got its own?
Manchester has 3 this year.
Oh.
Yeah, there's 3 in Manchester. There's 1 in Sheffield. There's a couple in London. They're genuinely everywhere.
Yeah.
But then there's also York has one and Blackpool has one. There's so many of them.
Yeah, I mean, the tattooing thing just exploded, though. I mean, going back to the Steve Byrne type thing, I think he was the first, for my world of things. I mean, I guess a lot of outsider niche culture type stuff will come from the outsider niche people, and a lot of those people will come from either the arts world of things or the music side of things. And from my perspective, coming from the music background, DIY, hardcore punk stuff, a lot of the people kind of bled into that side of things. And so Steve Byrne was one of the first people that I was aware of that were popularizing the sleeve elements. So before Steve, no one I knew, sleeves weren't out there.
Yeah.
And then suddenly he was putting sleeves on people. Some of my closest friends from back in the day were getting work with him, and it was just oh shit, that's a thing that you can get. You've got a lovely black arm there.
Yeah, just a couple of cover-ups.
Oh, okay. But it entirely just felt like it wasn't a thing before a certain point in recent history.
Yeah, I guess I grew up with it a little bit more because when I was at college, a lot of my friends were scene kids, emos.
So what year would that been?
I was at college in 2007, 2008.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so by that point, it was already really popular.
Yeah.
So, I mean, some people that I knew, as I'm sure you did too, started getting tattoos when they were like 15, 16 in some dodgy places.
Yeah.
But that was probably more prevalent by the time, like by 2005, 2006. So by the time we went to college, there were quite a few people with maybe not full sleeves yet, but heavily tattooed. And at that point, there was a lot of scene girls getting like the chest pieces with.
Yeah.
There seems to be like a interchangeable bunch of elements, like the nautical stars and the what do you call them?
Oh Jesus!
The knuckle dusters and roses and all sorts of stuff like that. Like
the nautical stars though were fucking huge.
Oh yeah.
That's pure like 2003 type shit.
Yeah.
And I think it was around that era when I'd seen the whole thing explode. But to be honest as well though, it was like David Beckham was probably hugely responsible for an uptick in tattoo culture.
Yeah, definitely, like the black and grey type of work. Yeah,
we've
seen many a Beckham angel recreated.
Yeah, it felt like it kind of, once the normies were kind of like, oh, we're allowed to do this, and he kind of just pushed that, then it emboldened the alternative kids and scene kids or whatever to then push the envelope a little further, and then you'd get like pals getting neck pieces and sort of the sort of the job breakers,
job stoppers.
Job stoppers, yeah. Just always remember like the first time, I think, do you know Farrell? Jamie Farrell?
I don't think I do.
I think he was the first person I saw that gotten neck and hand tattoos, but he was like purely outside of the 9-to-5 world.
Okay.
So it was a fair one. He was never going to end up in that. It was never going to be a hindrance to his getting a salary. But it was interesting seeing that whole thing evolve and like even into the, like sort of the traversing into the face tattoo world of things. And I know that obviously tattooists have a very niche perspective on that like many people won't even touch it. You've got to have an actual relationship with your tattoo artist if you're wanting to get something of that nature. It's been very interesting to see that scene evolve though into what it's. Would you say it's kind of chilled out a bit more now, or what's in 2025? What's the lay of the land in the tattoo scene, so to speak?
I think it depends where you go, to be honest, because a lot of the people that I know who've been tattooing for say 10+ years, they still have a very similar viewpoint on, hand tattoos to an extent, and especially like neck and face, particularly face tattoos. Yes, yeah. Because you get so many young people coming in and wanting face tattoos, like even as their first one, and they might be freshly 18, and unfortunately they don't like being told no, but they don't really understand like how much it can impact things.
Oh god, yeah.
And like I say, they don't want to be told no, but we won't do them.
Yeah.
We'll do them on like long-term existing customers, or if someone comes in and they've really heavily tattooed, and it depends on what they're after and if we can do it. But yeah, there are places that will tattoo the 18-year-olds with whatever they want, wherever they want, and it's irresponsible.
Scary.
Yeah.
But then again, back to Levy with just she's most definitely embraced that culture.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. She looks amazing.
It's I don't know. It's a distraction for when I first met her, having a conversation, and it was sort of like there's so much to take in there. But yeah, it's you definitely cross that bridge of just learning how to converse with people. It's a strange kind of a break of the social norm.
Yeah, it is interesting when you like maybe for one of the first times meet somebody who's got quite a lot of modifications done.
Yeah.
I went to a convention in Switzerland a few years ago, and I've seen pictures of it before, but it was the first time I'd ever seen someone with their eyeballs tattooed.
Oh.
And it is quite jarring for a first time experience. And or like sometimes seeing people who are super heavily tattooed to the point where you can't even really see any of their like natural skin color. It's quite something.
Yeah. But it's I don't know, it's the nature of life. It's just everyone's bringing something different to the table, and it's just there's still a person at the end of the day. It's just what
absolutely.
I think that was one of the I was really wanting the food business to kind of persevere, because I wanted my nephew to come up and visit in the summer, and him to like basically have exposure to people like yourself, Sam, where it's like just to normalize that this is. If he met Sam just by nature of just bumping into him in the street, he would be scared.
Yeah.
And I kind of want to break that.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of want to just for it to not be a thing, for him to like just be able to engage with somebody that's got tattoos on their head and just has the appearance of just.
Yeah, but I'm sure like if your nephew was to come up, I'm sure you could organise a pop-up because it was popular enough and you had enough repeat custom that if you were to do a night or a weekend or whatever.
You should
do it.
Just to I don't think I'd not mentioned it in the previous episode, and it's been a couple of months since. So I'd found myself unemployed and decided to set up a food business in Grindhouse. I'd been saying to Paul for a long time, I'd love to do food in your kitchen, and he'd always been just super. Well, you know, Paul, he's just lovely, but he'd always been really accommodating, saying, "Yeah, man, come down, do it, dude."
Just got to do it.
Yeah, man. And so just took the leap in January of this year, gave it an honest swing of the bat, and you know, it was. I think people have been saying that this January, February has been kind of the worst in hospitality in sort of recent memory.
Yeah.
So it was a tough one, and especially with that bar, maybe not getting as much trade as the others on New Briggate, but it was still fucking fun. And cheers again for.
Yeah, cheers. It was had some good food there. It is a shame it didn't work out. Yeah, pop-ups.
Yeah. But yeah, so you know that's an eventuality down that. I tried to went to slight aside. Job centre wise, I had to go down for the whole universal credit thing. And I was like, so I've closed the business, I'm now job seeking, and they were like, well, you haven't closed your business accounts and you might do pop-ups in the future, so you're still self-employed. And I'm like, I've got no equipment and no prospects to do anything.
Oh, that's really difficult.
It might work in my favour though, because it takes the job seeker pressure off.
Okay.
But I've still been trying to find I need a fucking job. So broke.
Have you got any applications in at the moment?
Oh yeah, I'm forever, like every fucking day. It's my niche, but that's aside. But top up wine. It is an interesting thing of being almost everyone I know being in tattoo culture and being knee deep and just knowing how lovely they are of a person, and knowing, as I say, that like if I was to just rock up with my nephew, my nephew would just be like shocked and unable to talk.
Yeah.
But I think it's that thing of I just love the idea of the life, the socialization element, the life, welcome to the world aspect of things, because obviously most people will just be living a very sheltered life and unaware of all of these things, and then suddenly you kind of rock up to Grindhouse and you see the full spectrum of what life can be.
Yeah, I think, you know, people are more used to seeing like heavily tattooed people now, because the proportion of people, like maybe not necessarily super heavily tattooed, but the proportion of people who have one or two, it's so high. So it's definitely more normalized, but there are little pockets where it's easy for me to forget that people aren't used to seeing it as much as what I am.
Because it's your world.
Exactly.
It's your day-to-day, yeah.
But like a couple of years ago, me and Sam went to North Wales to see his sister, and it just so happened to be, like it is at the moment, like gorgeous gleaming sunshine. So we were walking down the beach, and I had a short dress on, and some of the looks then were really interesting, and one of the best comments that we heard was someone saying, I didn't know tattoos could look like that. So that was,
How do you process something like that then?
Water off a duck's back, I think, at this point. Just used to it.
Yeah. Was there a point when it was a bit like you'd kind of look back the following day and still feel a little stung by it?
Yeah, definitely. Like I've had interactions with like a few people who've, you know, said, I wouldn't employ someone with that, or, you know, just nasty comments, mostly from men.
Right.
Aren't you? But yeah, you just sort of annoyingly get used to it.
I guess, to be honest though, when you put it like that like if the worst of the comments are coming from the worst of people, it's its own lesson.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, well, they're a knobhead, so I'm not going to listen to that.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it does help that it's like, didn't ask for your opinion anyway.
So. Oh God, yeah. And it's that thing of like, I think Wilby was probably, shouts to Kate Wilby.
Yeah.
Love you. I think her experiences she'd given me her experiences of that whole, like, because of the female bartender with tattoos, and just you get those conversations of like, as you say, it's the dude that's just looking to crack on and just have a conversation with a lass, and it's like, oh hey, nice tattoos, and just the generic bullshit conversations there.
Oh yeah.
You just get used to knowing that there are less than commentaries that are just going to be flowing, and as I say, they're coming from the less than people for the most part.
Yeah, I think it just becomes easier to ignore the longer it goes on, to be honest.
Yeah. So what was your, because you said that you obviously didn't have too much early doors, what was your tattoo journey? Because obviously now you've got your legs covered up. I can only assume it goes all the way up and down both.
Yeah, my legs are pretty full as well. I had always sort of known that I'd wanted them, but I'm very glad that I didn't get some of the stuff that
early doors.
Yeah.
Like, just quickly as well, shall we get a little shot of something?
Yeah, for sure.
Why the fuck not? Jack or Penderyn?
I don't know what Penderyn is, so...
it's a Welsh whiskey.
Let's go for that. Never tried it before, so... yeah, I'd always known that I wanted them, and my twin sister, Emma, fell into the category of people who went to dodgy places at the age of 15 and 16 to get tattooed. But...
I will say, from what little I've heard, she seems more the wild card sister.
Yes.
No bad, Emma. I'm
no.
cool to meet you, but it is what it is.
She drew a matching cat and an owl, which we were both going to get both of tattooed.
Yeah.
So like the cat for me, the owl for her. And I think she got the cat tattooed, I got the owl tattooed. And they were gorgeous designs, but I eventually got that one covered up just because it wasn't really me. Like, it was very sort of the time of like the sort of thing you'd have seen on a cushion, like beautiful but too girly for me. And I then started getting tattooed at Ultimate Skin. Cheers.
Cheers.
And then later got a job there.
Brilliant. So I guess the immersing into that world of things and suddenly like kind of knowing the artists and the appreciation of that stuff, how did that then influence what you chose to get? Was it because there will have been across that period, like, I guess, a popularization of new approaches and styles, so it feels like the industry has really kind of rapidly evolved over the past, say, 15 years.
I think for me, working there and like seeing the variety of styles that I maybe didn't know about before I started working there helped me to realise what I actually liked and what I was getting, because I thought that's your option.
Okay. So just quickly as well, because on your arm there, that the cobweb element, looking so slight as it does, it's like it really does stand out. For as diminutive as it is, it's a very interesting juxtaposed against the skull that sits over the top of it. There's a lot of different styles, it feels like there. It feels like you've definitely gone on a journey. Just on the side of your torso there, like it looks very more traditional of a piece there.
I mean, I've got a bit of a torso project on the go at the moment with who's working on at the moment is Justin, who used to work with us at Ultimate Skin, and he's now at Sacred. Justin Rocket. Yeah.
Fella, love that guy.
Me too.
Yeah. I remember one time, just quickly as an aside, and just for people in general, I love breathing techniques. I fell into that whole thing with the Wim Hof stuff years back, before it got crazily, people taking it a bit too seriously now. But I love doing it just for the in and of itself, for the potential health benefits. And I was doing it on my stoop one time, and Justin walked past, and we were having... And
no way.
Yeah, we was living at the street at the time.
Sure.
And we got talking on the subject, and he was saying he was using it for the sake of just feeling more centered. The post breathing experience it has a very it's a special thing to do and just to feel once you get into the techniques and know what you're doing with it. For him, he said he found it really kind of beneficial for just feeling altogether more ready to face the world, basically.
Mhm.
It felt like kind of a great little tool that you could work into your little skill set of things to, I don't know, help you in life. But yeah, so just a quick one. Give breathing techniques a look. I fucking love them. I've got a book over there called Breathe, I think. It's I'm a huge nerd for those. So, you know what I'm a nerd for all of them sorts of.
Oh, I respect it though, and I have like quite a few friends who do the breathing techniques and like the cold showers and all that kind of side of things.
I just saw just again another quick shout out. It's all about the shout outs. Any shout outs you want to give, just stop. Shout outs to the fella from Darius from Watermark.
Oh, okay, yeah.
He's because they were doing the Watermark business and then he had an ice business on the side. Yeah, niche as fuck.
Right, okay. No idea about that.
I thought, it's as niche as any industry can get, but like they've got like, and there's still Watermark, unfortunately closed down earlier this year or tail end, was it January or?
I feel like it was January. I feel like it was quite early. Yeah.
But hopefully they'll resurface doing something again soon. But he's carried on the ice business, and I saw literally just I think today or yesterday, he's got one of those ice bath things. I think he'd been given it because he's got the ice business. And he was using his ice in there and doing the ice, and I can't do an ice bath.
No.
But shouts to if you need very, very high level fancy ice. I think it's called Cool Cats Ice. We'll put the Instagram name there. Cool Cats Ice, and they're doing like, you know when you just see if you have like say an old fashioned or something, and it's got like a big old square of ice.
Oh right, okay, yeah.
So yeah. So you were probably just thinking
I was thinking
typical bags of ice.
Sculptures.
Sorry.
I have no idea.
I don't explain myself. But it's for bar industry, and I think he's got like Yorkshire wide, and even to like Liverpool, they deliver like really like to bougie places that need a square of ice in a fucking thing. But real niche business. But yeah, so shouts to Darius with his Cool Cats Ice, I think it's called. But yeah, so the people, lots of people doing that sort of stuff now, though.
It's not something I've ever tried myself. Especially the cold showers really doesn't appeal to me. And yeah, I've never tried the breathing techniques. I've spoken to Justin about it many, many times.
Oh, okay.
But just never got around to trying it.
Yeah, I mean, we can do it later. It's literally just a 5-minute endeavour of just like, and it's kind of a breathe in 5 seconds, out 5 seconds, just keep doing it. That's everyone's got their own, there's different systems you can do, but mine has just been doing that and then just do a breath hold. There's things called lion's breath, you can go all fancy names on it, and there's techniques and things, but ultimately it's for me just breathe, so you've got high oxygen saturation, then hold your breath, and then brace for the fucking head rush. It's an experience. It's like some of them trip you out pretty fucking hard.
Okay.
And as somebody that's adapted to the world of psychedelics, it's definitely.
Oh, I could not do psychedelics. No.
I was chatting with Meg about that recently, about like the salvia days. That doing I think 2009, 10ish. We were.
Yeah, it sounds about right.
Yeah. I've got this fantastic photo of Ben Palmer just literally over the road in the park, Burley Park. Just like, because we'd always do it in a sensible way, like having a sober watcher, and then the trippers. And so I was the sober watcher in that instance, and it was Ben. And do you know Beef?
No, I don't think so.
He's in the band Hidden Youth that played Grindhouse recently.
Right, okay.
But yeah, it was Beef and Ben over the park, and they were both just like, their faces were just pure joy, just like that ecstatic cracking up. And I've got this photo of this. I'm going to bang it up here. And it's just one of those all-time greatest memories of doing a thing. And some of the memories that we had from those salvia days are just like my pal Lewis. Shouts to Lewis Pugh. All about the shout-outs.
Yep.
Lewis Burner Band. He's going as Lewis Pugh. Lewis is. I think he's sacked off. No, I think he's still doing Burner Band, but he's now doing his solo project stuff under Lewis Pugh. I think it might have been. He's like used to do bands with him back in the day. He was in. Do you ever know a band called The Plight?
Well, yeah. Funnily enough, I never got to see them.
Oh, okay.
But they
did have a wild reputation.
Well, I completely missed out on seeing them. But my sister had a boyfriend who I'd stole the T-shirt off him before I knew who they were, and then listened to them, and it was just after they broke up. So, and I really like them. I used to listen to them really often, but unfortunately, never when they were actually together. So
yeah, the plight was sick.
Yeah, I wish that I'd seen them.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what. So Lewis is doing stuff under Lewis Pugh at the moment, but I think it was because he's in the teaching world, didn't want to use his real name, and that whole thing of having people, again, things that are so alien to like people in the more out there cultures of things, of like having to worry about your name being out there and stuff. But I'm trying to think what Dead Monarchs, Al, that was the vocalist of that band, is now doing a band called Dead Monarchs. Shouts to Dead Monarchs. I think they put out their album last year, I think, so check it out. Excellent bunch of lads in that band. Kev McGonagall. Also, and none of them knew they were robots. I'm going in every ADHD tangential run of possible, but so Dead Monarchs with Kev McGonagall, and he's also in the band, and none of them knew they were robots. Were an old like indie band from Leeds,
no, I don't
way
know
back in the day. It was kids from Send More Paramedics.
Oh right, okay.
So it was basically all of the Send More Paramedics kids plus Kev McGonagall.
Right.
And they then did their own thing with Send More Paramedics after, and none of them knew they were robots, split up.
Right, okay.
But robots were like one of the more popular of the sort of the Leeds punk indie sort of bands back in the early 2000s. But it's just a beautiful thing to see all of the old friends from back then still doing things. And robots are actually recording a new album at the moment as well.
Okay.
With Stu. Do you know Stu? Stu Dobbins?
Nope.
Married? No. Again, that was going to be a crazy tangent. Rare Blood Group, another sick band. Do you know?
No, I don't actually.
Oh. Anyway, we're going crazy tangents. So, what we're talking about, entirely lost.
Gone too far off.
Psychedelics.
Psychedelics, Cool Cat's Ice, ice baths, and those endeavours. Yeah, we should just chill, have a drink, forget we're doing this.
Have a wee break.
Do you need a wee break?
Yeah,
Great.
I probably could do with one.
Let's have a wee break. But yeah, feel free to vape on camera. It's
okay, I wasn't sure.
I'd smoke a tab if there was one. I've got a drink in my hand. It feels like the necessary. I spin the fuck out on nicotine though. It's one of them things where like.
I stopped smoking a few years ago, but I did see a silly meme recently which Megan really enjoyed, which was they should sell like one of those pop top things of wine with one cigarette on the side, like a juice box.
No, I have an idea. I want to...
Okay,
I'm
Nicole.
talking. Sorry, I'm talking. I want to be able to sell a pack of only 4 cigs, and it's called 4 Drunk Cigs.
Amazing.
And bars sell beautifully packaged 4 Drunk Cigs, because I would buy the shit out of it.
That would be perfect.
There we go. So if anyone wants to partner up with Nicole on that one, 4 Drunk Cigs. But there was that song.
Yep.
Do you know the song?
I do know that song.
Oh my fucking god, that just derailed my life when that Girly Girl production started dropping tunes. Just the most phenomenal thing. That was why I did Did you see the song I made? The 5 million Heinekens?
No, but I want to.
Yeah, it's. I think I still want to do it. I want to film a music video for that. And I'd kind of envisioned, you know, Annie Patterson.
Yeah.
I'd envisioned Annie as the singer of this song.
Okay.
And it's just, it's a sort of a lament on the modern life and the need for maybe smashing 5 million Heinekens to make everything all right.
Well, I know several people that would enjoy that a lot.
Yeah. So, right, so where were we? We were talking on... That was so smooth. Such a cool guy.
I liked it.
Tattooing in Leeds at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
So there are quite a few independent spots that we've got around. Is it Rude? Are they in Headingley, is it?
They've got 3. They've got one in Headingley, one in the Marion Centre, and one by the market. Yeah.
And by the... Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, they do, at the edge. Yeah. Fuck, that's one of those weird things of just not realizing.
Yeah.
No, nice. So how many independent spots would you say there are across Leeds, or would you say it's kind of quite a confined thing?
I genuinely couldn't tell you. Like in the city centre, there's probably maybe 10 or 12.
Wow.
Yeah, there's more than you'd realise.
Yeah.
But out of the city centre, like there's a bunch that I know of. But like, I mean, it depends how far you extend it. Like I was in Shipley this morning, and going on the bus, it was just like there's one, like, and a couple I'd heard of, and some of them never before. So I genuinely no idea how many there are. Like,
but then as you say, it's like you won't know they're there until you see them. Like Craw have got a very hidden away location.
Yeah.
There's like I did some freelance work recently with a pal, and it was on that street, and I was just walking along. There's like, oh yeah, Craw's just by there, and it's just that thing of. And I said to the guy, some pals have got a tattoo studio around just literally the next block, and he had no idea it was what it was, because it's just just you wouldn't. It's just signage.
Yeah.
Just Craw. Unless you know what that means, then you're not going to know what they do.
Yeah. But there's another one on that street.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so the guys who have Tower of Hearts, which is now in Headingley, they used to be Tower of Hearts.
Tower of Hearts, okay.
Yeah. They used to be slightly closer into town, and in the top floor of a building there.
Yeah.
And there's another shop in there now, which I think probably even less people know about.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're all over the place.
Do you know a lad, Bob Hodge?
Yeah.
Where does he work from?
He is in Horsforth, I believe.
Okay.
I think he's in Lights Out. If that's wrong, I'm really sorry.
I'll give it a look. We'll give it again.
Yeah.
Instagram handle there. But he's actually from the Plight days. He was sort of similar pals with those.
Oh, okay.
I remember we toured the UK with Gallows in 2006, and it was sort of me, him, a few other friends in the band, just causing chaos across these. It was like I remember buying like a fucking slab of fucking cheap beers before we set off Leeds, and just it was a fucking mess. But beautiful times. Yeah, but Bob, it'd be beautiful to get that lad on here and just hear about his journey, because known him obviously for a long time, and he kind of went into, as I say, leaving the whatever he was doing before, and then finding his way from the music world into the tattoo side of things, as quite a lot of people seemingly did.
Yeah. I mean, so Jenko that works with us, he's always done music as well.
Okay.
Like he used to be in Horse, and...
Oh, I follow him as a tattooist, and I had no idea he was in... Fuck, I probably know him.
Yeah.
Because I would have played with them back in the day.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Well, this is his new band, Care Home.
Which is... Oh, shit, yeah, with a bunch of people I know.
Yeah, it's Matt Reed, Mark,
Yeah.
Charlie.
So shouts to Care Home.
Yeah.
Charlie from Red Stars.
There you go.
Yeah. They're reeling with the Saltaire.
Yeah.
Crew.
Matt does the Endless Hum.
That's it. I was to get. Endless Hum is one of those endeavours where I want to love it, but I consistently find I don't love what they love.
Okay.
I think were you at that all day? Was it Belgrave or something? And it was just like, well, this band sucks. And just everyone was fucking loving every band that played, and I was just sat there despising it.
No, I remember seeing you there and you're not enjoying it. Like,
okay,
I personally really did.
Yeah. It's just my
different.
yeah. It's just for horses for courses, but that just really tickled me. There's just that thing of like all of like my favourite old friends doing this cool new thing, like just still involved, being active in the creative communities, but it just not being my thing, and just that like real paradox of fuck, I want to be involved but I don't want to hear it. But yeah, it is what it is. I think there's a lot of stuff happening out there. Endless Hum, they're doing, I don't want to say they're doing good things, I don't like it. They're doing good things.
Things that maybe aren't for you.
They aren't for me, but a lot of people are loving it, and it is what it is. Yeah. I think I'm very much like, I remember just seeing so many friends, and as you say, it's just like everyone was loving it, and it's like shouts to Adam from himself / Iger. Iger, one of the best bands there ever was in Leeds. Under everyone's radar. Himself, similar. Check out Iger. Put the old Bandcamp URL there. Himself, the greatest fucking bands. Adam, seriously great musician, but just, I think his estimation of me dropped by large amounts for the sake of me just not feeling any of that fucking stuff that day. I think that was a real turning point moment of me, and just like, shit, why can't they just do things I like? But yeah, yes, I'm an idiot. My tastes are stuck in the early 2000s, unfortunately, and it's all kind of like noisy and progressive type stuff. What was that band? Is it not the Chats? That's the Australian band. Similar, the Shits. Did they headline that thing?
They did play it.
And there were like, everyone was like, this band are fucking great. And I think it might have just been one of them things where like,
you were drinking pints of wine that day.
Or was I drinking pints of wine? Okay, cool. I might have been. Yeah.
I think if they headlined, I left before they played, because my husband is like, he likes strange music of more like a fun persuasion than maybe what they had on there.
Yeah, there was
and
no
we'd
fun
been there all day. I mean, I loved it. But, he was very much ready to leave, and by that point he'd already won the Mario Kart competition.
Oh, he
got his
yeah. I remember that.
We didn't hang around for the shit,
there was
but we enjoyed the rest of
like,
the day.
There was what's the laddo's name? Fuck, I'm blanking. The artist, he was doing screen printing.
Oh, Prince of Thieves. Well, it was Drew Millward's artwork, wasn't it?
Drew was working on,
with, is it Tommy from Prince of Thieves? He was printing it with Drew's artwork.
Okay, yeah, I just remember doing that and being really into, but also just seeing Drew. He's Ian,
he's great.
Drew Millward. I think we'd talked about doing similarly with. There's a never-ending list of people I'd love to speak with, which speaks to hopefully, this thing carrying on for a lot longer. But Drew, we'll have to touch base and arrange a date.
It'd be cool to get him on.
Yeah, he's fucking great. And I think for somebody to have been around the way, come from our world of things, and made an actual career, well, I know he struggles, but like, to actually still be doing the thing, and I don't want to say make a career of, but he has made a career of it, and he's known for the illustration consistently over the decades. It's a beautiful thing to see that, actually.
Yeah, for sure. Like, he's somebody that I probably first heard of when I was 16, and he just did, like, at that point, I didn't know him very well artistically, but you'd see him, like, popping up a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more. And now when you see him on Instagram and he's making consistently like artwork for incredible bands, but also for small independent like local stuff as well. It's just really cool to see like both like that merging together.
Yeah, and I think it's like with him coming full circle, because he's involved in the Endless Hum collective, as is Glacken. Shouts to Glacken. All about the shouts. I think my first awareness of Drew was from the flyer art world of things. So he would help out with Paul Graham's, would put on like gigs at the Pacos and whatever it would be, and suddenly you'd see this like flyer with just the sickest artwork. I think I'm visualizing now like a freezing fog flyer. I'll see if I can find and put it here. But just that thing of like still being willing to like spend hours creating a piece of art that's only gonna, I say only, that's got so much smaller of a remit. It's like its purpose is to draw in, say, 30 or 40 people to the most niche of like care home gig or something like that. It's like that he does that. It's like it's a beautiful thing to still see happening, and it feels like it's the true creatives that will always kind of keep that on their radar of things that they do.
Yeah.
It's in their DNA to just be doing those things. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, I think especially with him, like it's cool to see the constant outpouring of like creative work, like especially when he does. I'm guessing it's in October when he does the Creep Parade, like the drawing every day for the month. Have you seen him do that?
I will have seen it, but not connected the dots that it's an everyday...
Yeah.
Oh, and he sells little cards type thing, is it?
I think he sells individual prints of each of them, and then at the end of the year he puts them all into one print, and you can then buy that as the Creep Parade.
Okay.
It's amazing.
Yeah. Oh, sick. Well, there we go. We'll talk about that when we get him on.
There you go.
Would you say you've seen... are there tattoo artists that you've got a similar level of appreciation for that have, like... I don't know, maybe even... kept a lower level, like, again, I'm outsider, so I don't really know what I'm talking on, but it feels like with the world of tattooists and with it being a freelance endeavor and very, like, personal centric, but also knowing that you need to kind of explode your brand and kind of get bigger and blah blah blah, that feels like it has the potential to kind of trip up the more honest or creative elements of a person's approach to the output. But would you say there are people that you're aware of that have, like, stayed very, like, I'm happy being niche and I'm happy not being big and explosive sort of thing?
Yeah, in all honesty, I think a lot of tattooists are like that because they would rather do what they enjoy doing and what they know that they can, like the best possible tattoos that they can give to people.
Finding their niche and developing within it, yeah.
They would rather do that than they would be the most popular person on Instagram or like anything like that. Like they're much more interested in crafting the best work that they possibly can, and that's much more respectable. I think.
But again, back to my sort of outsider perspective on this, and I think because the conversations I've had with my friend Jim Bob, as I say, shouts to Jim Bob Isaac, I think he finds that frustration. Maybe I should. I'll edit this out, maybe. But speaking on personal shit, but like, I think he's aware of the niche that he holds, and is aware that, like, if he maybe expanded his remit, he would be more potentially successful as an artist.
Yeah.
But being happy to, like, just keep within his lane of what he wants to do. But then, as I say, existing within that paradigm of we are all independent workers and we all need to kind of have an awareness of the bottom line, essentially, and that, like, if he did kind of expand, he could potentially get more work in, but it wouldn't be as honest to the artist that he is. So would you say that's maybe like the neuroses of the artist overthinking, or maybe that there are actually the people that, like, say for example the bigger names in the tattooing world, say they're more diverse in the styles that they do. Do you think that could potentially negatively impact how people think on what they're going to bring to the table? That maybe it obfuscates, fancy word. it clouds the sort of the reality that at the end of the day, work your niche because that's what people will know you for and that's what people will go to you for.
No, because a lot of the people who are the best known, a lot of the people who are the best known names in tattooing, they tend to have a niche that they're amazing at, and they've spent, thousands of hours practicing and crafting and, like, working to get to the level that they're at.
Yeah.
And that's why they're known for one particular thing. Which isn't to say that you can't be a good tattooist and do everything. Unfortunately, I can't remember this person's name, but one of our guest artists the other week showed me somebody who, to look at their Instagram profile, you would think it was a shop rather than one tattooist, because their work is so diverse.
Yeah.
But every single thing was absolutely nailed, and it's rare to see somebody who can pick up any style, any size, and just do it like that.
Yeah.
That's why I think a lot of people choose to just go, I do this, I do it my way, I do it well, and if you want that, this person can do it for you. It might not be the best business move, but they're being honest.
Yeah, and I think that's, I think these are the conversations that will surface in these hard times when people are thinking, like, how do I make the bottom line work for me? Because, everyone's struggling, and every goddamn, even the 9-to-5ers, everyone's been saying for years now of, like, salaries just like stagnating. No one's getting the pay rises that they deserve and what have you. And I guess it's going to be all the more when you're like self-employed and working in the creative sphere of things. You've got those anxieties as to maybe I should, maybe I shouldn't. But it is what it is. But big love to Jim Bob though. But he's doing his first back piece tomorrow.
Oh, that's amazing.
He's forever putting himself out there, trying new things. I've, as I say, forever loved his work. So he's a fantastic illustrator and now a fantastic tattoo artist. So
that's incredible.
It's been nice to see his journey of things. I guess we need to get into who you want to give your shout outs to, because I've been running my mouth like a motherfucker. Who would you say? I guess we can sort of bracket it to the Leeds scene, maybe the sort of the broader UK scene, and then the just full on throw the net out to the global stuff. Who are the names for you that, like, predominantly I guess tattoo, but then maybe even in the piercing thing, if there's like people that are, again, don't know what it could represent, but like, are there aspects of the piercing game that like really there's a name that shines to you as like, that's a bit fucking diff? So maybe predominantly in the tattoo, but if there are any examples of the piercing stuff as well.
Yeah, so I'm gonna really fucking struggle. I think in terms of like people that I really, the work that I find exciting at the moment with tattooing, there's a tattooer called Chloe White who works predominantly in London, but she does sometimes work in Leeds. And she does almost like black, like gory, like skulls with sort of pulls in between them and almost like tribal elements to it. And her work to me is really exciting. And she's also a really lovely person. It
helps.
Yeah, it really does. And there's a guy called Pedro that guests with us who his work is just phenomenal. Like, he's won a few prizes at conventions recently because his work is so good, but he's trained in like medical illustration and he's illustrated for medical journals. But he applies that to like animals and things, where he'll morph animals together where you can believe that it, like a mouse with wings is actually real and weirder. Like, his skill level is off the charts. So he's incredible. He works in Burgos, which is somewhere in Spain. My geography of England is bad, never mind Spain. And piercing wise, I honestly, like, I'm not sure of anybody that I could pinpoint and be like, this is more exciting. Tattooing side of it, there's always exciting people out there to find.
I guess it's more of a, it is what it is. It's more of a, it allows itself to a more creative outpouring. Within the Leeds scene, how have you found existing here? I've always found from the music side of things, and again, my perspectives of what I've experienced, what you've experienced, I've always found Leeds to be incredibly welcoming of the collaborative thing, and for like just so many small independent endeavours having the ability to pop up, like the Hand of Glory thing just being a prime example of like a relatively large scale event that is run by just independent people. How have you found, I guess, and has there been any like sort of turning point moments that you've seen over your 12 years of being in the industry professionally?
I think one of the nice things about working in Leeds and the way that we do is that as a city, for the most part, all the shops sort of like chat to each other, interact really well with each other, and really get on. Like, it feels like a nice community to be a part of. Whereas you do hear of other cities where there's maybe more like animosity between different shops, and it's very like them against us, and that I can't really imagine working in a city that was like that, where you can't just, for example, like when we have the events on, the shops that I know that I can go into and take them a poster and they'll put it up and advertise, and you know, whether they're working or not, which a lot of them have worked, one or the other. But it's nice to know that there is that support for like events and things, and again with like saying about like the tattooists who, the guys in our shop, they will have like their speciality and then other things that they're also super comfortable doing. But if it's not something that they are comfortable doing, the shops that we would happily say, why don't you go here? Whereas maybe elsewhere it would just be like, we'll just do it for you because we don't want to give anyone else custom. And I like that side of it, because at the end of the day, I want that person, the customer, to have the best possible tattoo. And if it's not something that we can do for them, I would rather send them to the right place. And maybe in the future, like if they want to get more work done, they might get sent back our way or not. Like, but the most important thing is they get the right work done.
Yeah. I mean, I think I've found, as again from my perspective, it is entirely that vibe. That like it's the collaborative community aspect of things that's really shone out for Leeds. That like that trite old saying that what is it? A rising tide lifts all boats. Okay. So like, you know, if someone's doing well, then ultimately down the line it might kind of help somebody else to do well, sort of thing. Yeah. It's beautiful to hear that it kind of reflects there as well, because it's again being the outsider, and it just feels a bit different. Artists have that reputation of being kind of potentially quite, I don't know, into themselves, whatever it'll be, and with them being, it's the self-employed aspect of things a lot of the time as well. So it's a beautiful thing to hear. With regards to Ultimate Skin, who are is there like a core group that works there, or does it like rotate, or?
Yeah, so we have a bunch of tattooists who work with us full time. So Jenko, who I mentioned earlier,
I was going to say, give us the roster, the shout out.
Yes, Jenko's been there for 13 years. Okay. He does traditional work. He's done like a bunch of my tattoos. He like beautiful, like really clean work, and just like his own take on traditional tattooing. There's an interview with him in the most recent Super Friends catalogue. Nice. So have a read of that.
There we go.
And then Ashbury does more like trippy, psychedelic kind of traditional stuff. Like he loves mad colours and like weird designs. Like we were just talking about my sister, she has a bunch of stuff off him, like an eyeball with spaghetti on a fork and like a weird snail, and just the fun stuff. And then Miles does like neo-trad stuff, so like a little bit more detailed, a little bit more delicate. He's been tattooing for I think maybe like 14, 15 years, and his work's incredible, and he's also super gentle, so he's nice to get tattooed by.
I think that's a good element to know.
It really helps. And then we've got Johnny, who's our apprentice, who again does mostly traditional work. And Dave, who works with us one to 2 days a week at the moment, who mostly does Japanese. But then we have a bunch of other people who work with us, like Chris Smith, you met the other day, who generally works with us 1 day a week, and there's a long list. Like we have a sign above the door that says Ultimate Skin, home for waifs and strays, and that's kind of the feeling. Like
kind of like Grindhouse.
Yeah, exactly. Because we also have an Echo and Pedro and like all those guest artists who come 2, 3, 4 times a year, and have been doing for a long time. So there's like the question that you asked, we've got a core group who are there the whole time, but there's also this constantly changing,
floating,
like in and out just all the time, and it's nice though.
Nice.
It's cool to have it constantly ticking over with different people.
I guess we should crack open the Vault City. Are there any people, places, vibes, things just across the broader place of Leeds, Yorkshire, that you've kind of personally loved?
You mean like
very vague, open-ended? Just like looking for the shout-outs, but like looking for where you feel you as the person that you are feels at home. So Grindhouse given.
Okay, got you.
But aside from that, like, what are the cultural touch points that you feel are like where you have found you belong across Leeds? The restaurants that you enjoy, the bars you enjoy, even just the shops you enjoy across Leeds, for the independent vibe of things.
Okay.
Can I get that glass, Stephen?
So I live in Farsley, and there's some
okay.
really cool bars around there.
That Guardian article recently.
There you go.
Yeah. So it was the coolest neighbourhood in the UK or something.
Yeah, it was like one of the top 10 or something like that. Yeah. So Amity there is great. Like, that's an independent brewery. They're opening their second venue. I think they've just hit their crowdfunding target for it, so they're opening that. I think in June. Yeah, it's Green Gates, I think.
Oh, I don't know it.
Yeah.
I'm assuming it's between Farsley and Bradford, sort of thing.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's really cool. And there's another little place just up the road from there called St. Jude that's a really good bar.
Oh, okay.
They do like bagels, homemade bagels with really nice fillings and like loaded fries and things during the day, and then it becomes a bar in the evening.
That's got a fantastic bookshop up that way as well.
They do. I've only been in a couple of times, but yeah, Truman Books.
Yeah, they did an event recently with some author whose name I'm blanking on. Some crime author. No, it's entirely gone. Scottish guy. But yeah, this is.
I'm intrigued.
But yeah, it feels as there is a lot of good stuff that's going on up there.
Yeah.
A lot of it based around, what's the spot there? That little mill.
There's Sunnybank Mills.
Sunnybank Mills,
that's where Amity is.
Yeah.
But with where we are, we're also super close to Owen Against the Grain.
Oh, sick.
So
yeah. Always shouts to Owen.
Absolutely.
Shouts to Owen Against the Grain. They've just opened the second spot in
Yeadon.
Yeah. Is that a glass that's empty? Yeah. Boom. That's been again, Owen, his journey across things, and I'd love to hang with that fella, but I think he's just entirely, time is lost between his two businesses and trying to see his lass and
recent house purchase.
And I think that they always seem to just be like, we're going to walk in the countryside and post lovely photos, and it's they seem to make time to do the loveliest of things.
You just have to consistently visit Against the Grain until he happens to be there.
Yeah, or just like be like, right, when are you going to be there? Tell me your schedule. But it feels like there's been a lot of things that have popped up in the suburbs over. Predominantly, it feels maybe the seeds that were sown during lockdown of people being like, I'm going to start this project, and it slowly kind of became a thing, and they found like, say, a space that would be local to them then that became where they did it. Like I can't remember, went to some brewery in, again, some random suburb of Leeds, and they just like, it was just a brewery tap room in a suburb, and it was a cool little spot. I'll remember what it is and put the shout out there, but
I can't think what you mean.
No, maybe even Yeadon. I don't even know where the fuck I was, but I went there for drinks with some people, and it was like, we're going to go to this brewery, and I was like, I've never heard of that. Home something. Home Truth?
Home First?
No, the brewery's name.
Oh, sorry.
I think it might have been Home Truths, maybe? I don't know, but the point being that there's been a lot of these things popping up in the suburbs now, and like with Owen with his spot at, I always forget the name of the place.
Yeadon.
No, the little,
Against the Grain?
Yeah, the industrial sort of unit where he's within. It's got like a name.
He's in shit.
Yeah. It's similar to Sunnybank Mills, isn't it? It's a
Springbank. Is that right? No.
Well, again, we'll remember it. Put it there.
This will get edited out, I imagine.
We fucking won't. Everything takes time. I'm gonna bang this straight out.
Okay.
But it does feel there's a lot of like sort of love to give for the things that are happening in the suburbs of Leeds at the moment. But yeah, back to your preferences though. So Farsley has got some decent spots. Shipley, as you say, is resplendent with tattoo spots, it seems.
It was just that I happened to spot some on my bus journey up there, and I don't really know Shipley very well at all, to be honest. I used to go out there when I was like 18, 19 or so, but none of that's there anymore.
Yeah, I don't really know of like what to think of Shipley as a place, not having been there. But I think for me, I kind of split places in Leeds into like one of four quadrants of like, you've got sort of city people, well, city place, like just city centre,
Mhm.
city, hood, burbs, and the sticks.
Yeah.
So like sort of, we are now, this is the hood. Kirkstall is kind of, I'd say, burbs, hood adjacent.
Yeah.
Farsley, sticks, burbs adjacent. It's an interesting thing to try and like categorise and see where everyone lays, but it's yeah. Stranger side.
Yeah. Like I say, I don't know like Shipley well or anything, but Saltaire's great for like all the little like the mill and all that kind of. Yeah.
I'd say Saltaire is sticks, Shipley is burbs. Maybe.
I don't know it well at all, to be honest.
Leave in the comments. Where do you think the areas of Leeds and Chapel Allerton burbs? Let's go with Bramley hood.
Yeah, fair.
It's borderline burbs, but too much hood for it to be burbs.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a fun conversation anyway. But where else? So you're in the city centre. Santy's and Grindhouse off the equation. Where are the spots that you'd want to give shouts to? Social
Beer Garden, I absolutely love. That's one of my favourites. Just like
I didn't know they had a beer garden until Meg mentioned it recently. But I noticed when I was in there that little side door at the to the left of the bar, and
it's great.
Yeah,
it's great.
Oh, that's one to discuss. Is that still owned by Brutnell?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Again, Nathan Brutnell, want to get you on. That needs to happen. I fucking love that guy. Love that place. Obviously, love his mum. Loved his dad. I remember his dad taught me how to lower a condom onto my head and blow it up.
Oh, so many questions.
Yeah. But anyway, that's a subject for another time.
Okay.
But it's a trick you can do, and you have to like sort of slowly like, and then bring it down and inflate it over your nose. It's a whole thing.
I saw you do that upstairs at the Rum Bar in Mojo one night.
Amazing.
Work behind the bar.
It's a party trick that maybe hasn't seen the light of day in a decade, but it's a thing I can do.
Love it.
So yeah, Nathan, let's get that rolling. Yes, so Socials Beer Garden, but food-wise as well, because you get around us. You bounce around the food spots.
Yeah, like I don't go out for dinner loads anymore, but I love Ox Club. Like I often go there with Sam. That's always a great meal. I love Thyroidy and Mummy Thai, both of those excellent.
Yeah.
Loved Fuji Hero, but sadly gone.
Where else in Leeds then? Wens. I haven't been to there. Have you been there?
Wens is amazing. I don't get down there very often. But yeah, I've never had a bad dish in Wens.
I've never been.
Yeah, you need to go. You need to go. It's fantastic, and the service is always great as well. They're just
it's a really like
food,
family-run business.
Yeah. And down that way, like I don't get down there very often, but I love the Brunswick. They're always great.
Yeah. I went for my very first visit there the other week.
As if?
I know. I've never been. I don't even know why or how, but like it's just I've never been. Maybe by nature of where it's placed, it's like it's just that little bit out of the city centre. And again, I've got no excuse. I'm an idiot boy Steve here. But I've rectified that. Been down. It's a banging roast. Met a lady called Pauline. Was it Pauline? No, fuck.
Paige.
Yeah. Sorry, I knew it was a P. Paige.
Yeah, Paige is great.
Yeah, she said lovely things about my chili. So yeah,
happy days.
Yeah. So I'm a fan. But just in general, something of a Leeds kind of institution. It feels.
Yeah. It's such a great bar and pub. Need to get back down there soon.
Yeah. We've gone down and. Booked in for the Sunday roast, and then also booked a pool table. Ooh. Just kind of fill out the Sunday experience.
That cemented my I don't like sours. Sorry to interrupt.
I'll just out this story, but yeah, it was just that thing of we rocked up down there, and they said, right, we've got a booking for a meal. It's like, you've got a booking for a pool table, but nothing else. But they hooked us up, so it's all good. Right, well, that's...
All right. Yeah, me and Sam ended up at the Brunswick a while ago because we...
You're not a fan?
No.
Really? Wow.
Unfortunately. Yeah, get it in your glass.
Yeah. It's such a lovely... Why do you not like it? God damn it. I'm like you just affronted my child or something.
Just sour beers, not for me. Like, I'm genuinely like a Stella.
Yeah. That's an entire fair one. Oh, just that lovely vanilla-y back end of things. That's beautiful.
Well, you enjoy.
I'm going to slip away a second. Just a bit of, do you know Christopher Cross? Sailing. No, that just, my mind goes to like that song, Sailing Takes Me Away. Anyway, it's I'm an old 80s kid. It's a song from that era.
Okay, yeah, it doesn't immediately spring to mind, but...
Anyway. Vault, I love you still. Katie, just not so much.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure I'd love their other beers, but just not a sour.
But yeah, just the independent culture in Leeds in general. So like tonight, off to Village Books in Thornton's Arcade. They've got a book launch event for Ricky Adams. He's put out his new book on sort of street photography of Leeds 6.
Is that strangely familiar, that one?
No,
okay.
Different. Yeah, that's an Instagram account, isn't it?
Yeah, I thought he was putting something out soon, but I'm probably wrong.
Maybe as well, as a separate thing, his thing. But no, with Ricky Adams, a local photog, and he's just he's one of my favourites. I've known cool. He's been doing things since like the night. And again, I need to get him on here to get his full story, so I'll butcher it now. But I think his thing was that him and his brother started like a sort of a real DIY BMX photography or BMX magazine type thing back in the day.
Okay.
And then it got bought out, which allowed him to kind of traverse into being more of a professional freelance photographer, doing whatever he wanted to do, and afforded him to be able to create a career.
Oh, cool.
I think that was the story. And to this day, he's still sort of putting out things, and that's his bread and butter. But yeah, he is fucking phenomenal though, and he's done some of my favourite photographs over the years. There's that classic one of Refused playing Warzone in Belfast back in the 90s. He's an aside, but we're spots like Village though. So Village, independent bookstore. There's lots of just fun, similar spots across Leeds. Are there any sorts of businesses that pop out as your kind of? I fuck with them.
I mean, I love, like, Silver's Deli is a great new one. Like back to the food side of things. But yeah, they are fantastic. Like, their everything sandwich has saved me through many a hangover.
What's the everything sandwich?
It's a breakfast sandwich with 2 sausage patties, bacon, soft scrambled eggs, cheese, caramelized onion, spicy mayo, brioche bun. I think that's it. You'd love it. You should try it.
And again, this is another, to my embarrassment, not been to Silver's yet.
Yeah, you should go.
So that's definitely on the list of places.
Yeah, they're fantastic. Where else? I should have thought about this in advance. I always love a wander around the Corn Exchange, like just seeing what new shops have popped up in there. But I don't do a whole lot of like shopping and browsing and things. So.
I will say as well, there's a new spot, Corn Exchange, in the basement doing ice cream.
Yes, I want to try there.
Yeah, we went there a week or so. I think they did a sort of a soft launch a few weeks back, and ridiculous flavours, ridiculously good. It's a little spenny for what it is. Like, I think it was like £3 a scoop or something, but
I guess if it's made with high quality ingredients, they're so expensive now.
It's mainly my mindset of like thinking we're still in the 90s of like that shouldn't cost that. Why does this not cost 20p?
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's just idiot boy here, and not being employed as well is going to put more of a. It's just every penny spent is like a consideration. Whereas like when you've got a decent salary, it's just like fuck it, let's just have ice cream.
Yeah.
But yeah, the flavors they've got going on there, and I'm blanking on the name of the place.
There's a sticker behind you.
Is that it? Oh my god.
You said it to be useful.
Melting Point ice cream. There we go. Thank you.
No worries.
Yeah, it's a pure Kaiser Soze moment. Shouts to Margaret's Bell.
Oh, yes.
Um,
Yeah, no, I'm actually planning on going to the ice cream place next Saturday with my sister. We're going to go to Skew first. And have you been there?
I have not.
Oh, it's so good.
And I think it's my perfect food. Like, just that fucking vibe of just, yeah. Do you want to give it the sell? Have you been there before, I'm assuming?
I was looking after Megan's cat a while ago and ordered it to there, and it was amazing, but even better having it in the shop and watching them prepare it all for you. Like, just the best kebab I've ever had. And the absolute best bit is when they wrap it up and dip it in, I guess, like the fat, the juice, and they then like toast it on the grill.
You see them pushing against the fire on it and getting that little grill mark on the side of it.
Oh, it's so good. Like, it's one of those where it starts off and you can eat it sort of tidily, and then by the time you get down to this last bit, there's just like juice running down your arms, and it's like in your nose and in your hair.
Best way.
Got to go eat with someone who you probably know a little bit.
I was going to say,
not a first date kind of meal.
BURRIA BANDITS, same vibe of like just the absolute fucking carnage of that mouthful, and just dipping it in the dip, and just
it's so good though.
I can't. Next Sunday, get the fuck the Hand of Glory. Get
Absolutely.
the fuck the BURRIA BANDITS. Make an absolute beast of yourself. Embarrass yourself and your family and your friends, because it'll be entirely worth it, and you'll think about it for a year, as I have done, because I've only had it once at that event, and I've legit, like, it. If I could eat anything in the world ever, it's just, fella.
BURRIA tacos.
So fucking good.
They are great.
Yeah. I've forgotten what we were talking there. Food-wise, anything else aside from the food sort of stuff that catches your mind of wanting to give a shout-out to? If you were, like, going to get a piercing, I mean, where would you go?
If I was going to get a piercing, I would probably go to Holier Than Thou in Manchester.
Okay.
They pierced my septum for me when I was at uni, and they're just amazing technical piercers who know everything there is to know about.
How would you describe
piercing.
that term, technical piercing?
They just know like exactly where to pierce and like exactly what will and won't work on different shapes and bodies and things. They're the sort of people who, like, if you have to troubleshoot a piercing, they'll be able to tell you exactly what you need to do to look after things, which, you know, not everywhere like absolutely nails aftercare, and they just have like a really high standard of that sort of thing. So yeah, like, I have no plans to get any more piercings because I swim too much to get them done, but if I ever did, that's where I'd go.
Nice.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to give a shout out to? Any other people that spring to mind that you haven't mentioned that are worth knowing? Or
yes, definitely to the Rutland in Sheffield, which is one of the best pubs I've ever been to. They're fantastic, and they always have a great food menu on as well. But just the whole vibe of the place, like, it's kind of got a similar thing to Santiago's, and like this sort of shelf where it's just full of interesting little bits and
you wouldn't
pieces.
think of it from looking from the outside. It's got that very like old man boozer vibe, but then you go in and it's like, oh, this is inclusive and awesome. And it's great. And
I
think people kind of underestimate just how easy it is to kind of bounce across Yorkshire and get to these spots. It's so easy just to jump on a train, spend like half an hour or whatever it is to get to wherever. It's cheap as fuck to do that. And then when you get to these spots, like, you know, it's easy to just sit down and 3 hours just fly by before you know it. And you're supporting a great business as well at the end of the day.
Yeah. It's definitely worth a visit over there. And where else?
Or anyone else? Any people? Any spots? Any? I'm trying to think. I mean,
stuck.
Grindhouse, given.
Yeah, of
Fancy's
course.
given.
Yeah. Although I don't go there that much anymore, to be honest. Like, I feel like Grindhouse has become a bit of a...
I was going to say I became more Grindhouse than Santy's. And the other night when we all ended up going out, it was like, initially Frank was like, oh, we're all off to Santy's later, and I was like, why don't you go to Grindhouse? And he was like, well, because we're off to Santy's. I'm like, well, you should go to Grindhouse. And he's like, oh. So we all went to Santy's, and then within fucking 5 minutes, we literally ordered the drinks. We all had drinks, and then he was like, oh, we're off to Grindhouse. So fucking just sneak these drinks out. So sorry we took a wine glass. But,
That happens sometimes.
Yeah. But I think it is what it is. It's the same business, same people.
Yeah.
It's all good love. Right, I reckon it's probably as good a place as any to leave it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you for your time and the wine.
No, I enjoyed it.
Parade of grafters.
Your teeth and go! Ding, ding.